Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. I know I am. I'm excited because I'm going to go see Avengers later tonight. So I hope tons of people are getting out there and seeing that movie. And I am finally finished all of my tax filing preparation stuff that I had to do. And boy, was it hard this year. There just seemed to be a lot of things, little things in the works. Anyways, I got that all done. So I'm putting this video out a little bit later than I wanted to this weekend. But I'm going to keep it really short and sweet for you guys because today's topic is going to be whether or not a stock pays a dividend. Now, as always, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't work in the financial industry, and this is an opinion channel about money. So anything we do on here is just to help increase your awareness or your knowledge about stocks or trading or dividend investing or option trading. I mean, I'm primarily a dividend investor, so it's a long, slow growth. Anyways, today we're going to just dive right into this. I'm going to quickly just look up exactly what a dividend is so we can look up that definition for you. Because I think it's important to understand what the dividend actually is. The dictionary definition of dividend says a sum of money paid regularly, typically quarterly, by a company to its shareholders out of its profits or reserves. This is one of the key things. So as a shareholder, what happens when you become a shareholder is you buy a little chunk of that company. You buy a couple of shares, and then when that company profits, you get to reap the reward of that profit. Now, this website says typically quarterly. I actually like to invest in monthly dividend payers because I just find that it's a little bit easier to take those small chunks of money and reinvest them if I want to. There's two major components of a dividend company. But what we want to look for is we want to look for a company that has enough profits that it can afford to pay the dividend. We don't want to find a company that pays a giant dividend but can't actually afford it. So there's two components that we're going to look at today. We're going to look at dividends, and then we're going to look at dividend payout ratio because both of those are important factors when we're planning on being long-term dividend investors. So I'm going to load up Yahoo Finance. I'm not even going to sign in here. I'm just going to go to Yahoo Finance and just see what we can find here. So let's look up a stock. Now, somebody was asking me about Shopify the other day, and now I'm pretty bullish on Shopify. I don't have any in my portfolio right now, but I'm thinking about selling some put options on those very shortly. And you can see Shopify was up $222.28 at the close on Friday. Now, right here on Yahoo Finance, it says forward dividend and yield not available. That basically says that they're not paying a dividend. So let's look up something else that I've been trading lately. It's Berkshire Hathaway, BRK.B. So $214.22. And forward dividend and yield not applicable. So when it says not applicable here, it's more than likely it's not paying a dividend at all. What we can do is we can look at historical data, and you can actually put in here dividends only, and you can just apply this, and we can see that there's no dividends. So that's a second way you can look up whether or not there's dividends. I'll also show you on a chart. So let's look up something that does pay a dividend. Let's look up Senior Sierra Living. Now, if we go to the same chart, dividends only, and hit apply, it's going to show us that there was dividends paid. March 28th, they paid a 7-cent dividend. February 27th, 7-cent dividend. January 30th, 7-cent dividend, so on and so forth. So they've actually increased it since in July of last year, they were paying 7.5. Now they're paying 7.6 cents. So if we compare that, if we go back to the summary on CIA, look at the summary, and we look at the forward dividend and yield. So 92 cents at 4.85%. Now that's a fairly low percentage, 4.85%, but 92 cents. So if we look, we know that that pays monthly. If we take that 7.5 cents times it by 12, it's going to be right around that 92 cents. And that's where they're getting that figure from. So the forward dividend in dollars is how much it pays annually, or what it has paid annually in the last 12 months. And then percentage-wise relative to the current price. Now, always, I see other YouTubers doing this, and I can't stand it. They're like calculating the dividend yield based on the price that they paid for the stock. It's like absolutely ludicrous. It's like when we're looking at what the future payout could be of the dividend, we have to compare to what the current valuation is of the stock price. And that's it. That's the only valuation that we can use. I can't base the dividend percentage yield on some old value of a stock. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. It's like today, this is the stock price. Today, this is the dividend yield. Those are the things that we can compare. So we compare percentage based on the rate that the stock is currently. So 1852. So that 92 cents divided by 1852 would give 4.85%. Now, I mentioned that dividend payout ratio is really important. So let's just look at statistics here. And let's scroll down and see if this is listed. It might be wonky on this one. Yeah, the payout ratio is not reported correctly. It's saying it's 605%. And that happens with some of these stocks. This is AT&T. We're going to stay on the statistics page. And if we just scroll down, the payout ratio is 70%. What that means is that it's only taking 70% of its profits and paying it out to shareholders. That means it has 30% to reinvest back into the business, to grow the business. That's a lot of money that they're keeping. I mean, I typically like to find companies that have a payout ratio that's a little bit higher, 85 to 95% of their income, because that means that as a shareholder, I'm benefiting from those profits more than they are. I'm getting 85 to 95% of the profits being paid out to me, as opposed to 70%, which AT&T is paying. So let's just take a look at the summary sheet here, and we can see the forward dividend yield of $2.04, which is actually fairly high. So $2.04 works out to 6.5% dividend yield based on the current price of $30.68. Let's take a look at the chart for a second, just to see what this looks like. And I'll show you another way to see if it pays a dividend. So if we click on events up here, I can just put in dividends and they just pop up right here. So this little gray box, dividend 51 cents. 51 cents. So you can see on that previous page when we were talking about $2.04, well, that dividend gets paid quarterly. 51 cents times 4 works out to $2.04. So again, the dividend, $2.04, the yield 6.5% of $30.68. Now, when I'm in full screen mode, you could see here, I've got a couple of lines on here. So I'm going to turn these dividends back on. I'm going to go to the 1 year chart. And we'll see in the past year, we've had these 4 dividends of 50 cents, 50 cents, and then 51, 51. Now, the reason that Yahoo's calculating out $2.04 is because it's based on the last dividend payout. So it knows it pays quarterly, and it knows it was 51 cents. So if that dividend payout stays the same, in the next 12 months, it'll be $2.04. My chart is always set up here. I've got the 200-day moving average, a 20-day moving average, and a 50-day moving average. So you've got the green line, a red line, and a purple line. And I'm looking for opportunity to buy stock when the stock is trading below the 200-day moving average. In this case, the stock is currently, if we just scroll this over a little bit, the stock is trading right down here around $30.68. That's what it was at the close, $38.68. And the moving average was 31.26 for 200 days, 31.49, and then 31.11 for the 50-day. I mean, visually, we can see right here, it's below. There's a big spike in volume. We can also see that, and that dropped the price down. So there was probably some bad news with AT&T recently, but likely this is going to be a fairly decent stock to hold on to. If we look at the 5-year chart, you see the 200-day moving average is just slightly tapering down, but the stock is way undervalued relative to its previous average. So this may or may not be a good time to get into this. I don't own a position in AT&T, so I would have to look into it. But boy, I'm liking the fact that it has a 6.5% dividend yield and only a 70% payout ratio. I mean, that if things are going like that, that looks like a pretty decent dividend payer. When looking at this, I'm definitely going to consider adding AT&T to my US dollar dividend portfolio. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Remember to hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get rich together.